Hey guys, it's Godbars here, the self-proclaimed hip-hop historian, and this is the 199th episode of my series where I grab a vinyl from my collection, talk about why I love it, what influence it has, and what its place is in the grand scheme of hip-hop. Definitely one of the more forward-thinking and socio-politically aware projects to come out during this time. Intelligent Hoodlum was the birth of a legend whose long-standing career has stretched to this day, also known as Tragedy Khadafi. One of the many things I've always admired and respected about this debut LP is the way it chooses to break down barriers within hip-hop, opposed to drawing lines between different kinds of rappers. What I mean is how Tragedy is able to cover so many different areas of the game here, ranging from that public enemy type of commentary on government and race relations, to the peace-filled, Afrocentric direction that the native tongues were taking the genre, while still leaving room for party-centered jams to get the dance floor going. I think this aspect is super commendable and worth pointing out because it's proof of something I discuss pretty frequently on the channel, where people act like poetic lyricism and progressive song topics are somehow antithetical to parties, as if hip-hop wasn't birthed out of trying to get the crowd moving with their rhymes. Tragedy Khadafi showed this pretty early on, and proved to a generation that you didn't have to necessarily pick and choose between being enlightened and having fun, which definitely opened the doors for later artists like Kendrick Lamar, who's always succeeded at making music that stayed current and relevant, while still always having a point to make or story to tell. There's actually a second Intelligent Hoodlum album, which was 1993's Tragedy Saga of a Hoodlum, but I can't for the life of me find the vinyl for that one, so unfortunately that upload won't be coming anytime in the foreseeable future on the channel. Another thing I love about this debut is how Tragedy wastes no time getting to the point, giving us a straightforward rundown of his backstory and what direction he's about to take this experience in. The first words he raps on here are more informative than certain rappers' entire albums in terms of content, starting with, "I had the mind that was designed for crime. Now I'm 2 seconds away from the big time. In the fast lane, your life goes fast. It's time to take a journey into tragedy's past. When I was one, adopted by Michael Chapman, this was years before I started rapping. My father held a scholarship for a year, but then he died and so did his career. He left his son and his soon-to-be wife. He died, and that was the end of his life. It's just not fair that he couldn't live through, but as I grew, I fell into the same trap too. But I lived the life that he couldn't see. He died at 18, and that's the age of me. I escaped the cage where your brother is your enemy, and cops turn misdemeanors into felonies. Playing the game, the stakes are a lot. Either you're strung out on drugs, in jail, or get shot. So I take the pain and put it in a song, 'cause some of my brothers didn't last this long. Life to them just didn't seem important as I watched their bodies get stiffer in the coffin. A young black target for someone to shoot ya. Hoodlums the past, intelligence the future." Just from that first verse, we already know so much about Tragedy and his reasons for even grabbing a mic in the first place. And also, if you watch this channel relatively frequently, you probably heard me say how important I think it is to start with your best foot forward when you're crafting an album in the track list, especially when it's your debut. Tragedy Khadafi would go on to have a successful solo career, and unlike many of his contemporaries from 1990, he had no issue transitioning into the latter half of the decade, even void of his own personal output. The number of classic guest appearances he had on Capone and Noriega's The War Report showed he wasn't struggling to keep up with the changing times. While there aren't any features on Intelligent Hoodlum per se, there are actually a couple of legends who show up for guest appearances on the 2007 re-release of this thing, those being Biz Markie and Big Daddy Kane. While Joe, Fatal Burgos, and Large Professor of Main Source assist with production on one track here, everything else instrumentally is handled by Marley Marl. Marley Marl. Marley Marl. Marley Marl. Marley Marl. Marley. When it comes down to my three favorite tracks overall on this killer debut, They'd probably have to be back to reality, keep striving, and arrest the president. Then for my honorable mentions, I narrowed them down to the title track, Trage Invasion, Party Animal, Black and Proud, Game Type, Microphone Check, and Your Tragedy. Thank you for watching my 199th video. Next up, we have not just the last album in this set of Golden Age classics, but it's also my 200th upload. So definitely look out for that one, and if you enjoyed, be sure to like, subscribe, and let me know what your favorite moments of this forward-thinking debut are. Don't forget to have a great day, and I'll see you next time, if there is one.
Who would do such a thing? Look, I stand in the flame of a feeling we call pain. Father's Day mug, little hand shaped the clay. Carrier planes flew overhead in pockets.